PKN for 249. My mistake. Taylor, I was watching the game. I actually tuned in at the start of the second period.
That can't be true because the Stanley Cup Finals haven't started yet.
They
definitely start Wednesday. No, the Blues played like absolute shit, which seems to be a trend for them because they lost Game 1 versus Dallas badly. They looked horrible. They lost Game 1 versus San Jose badly. They looked about as bad as they did last night for San Jose Game 1. And then they turned it around and did well. I just wish that they could, fucking get it going off the start and not put yourself in a hole every single series.
I think you're a little far from your mic. And they started off 2-0. Like it was a fine when they were 1-0 when I tuned into the game. I was fine. And then they quick scored like I think there was a turnover or something, and they got the puck when they shouldn't have and scored. Like, hey, that's a goal and it really counts. Like this is a super positive thing. They are up 2-0 in the second period. This looks good. It looked good until the 4 unanswered goals.
Yeah, it looks good until they tied it up 2-2 at the end, and then scored a third, I think early in the third period, and then that was pretty much the end of the game. The empty net at the end, but it's like, first of all, the Blues can't be the only team to go 0 for infinity when pulling their goalie. They keep I wish I could whisper in Berube, our head coach's ear, and be like, "Hey, dude, have you noticed how this has never fucking worked? It's not gonna fucking work. Like, stop. We play the best 5-on-5 hockey of any team in the league. Just let them play 5-on-5. We're better at 5-on-5 than we are on the power play." Like, statistically.
You're making powerful arguments I can't refute. So I would say the empty netter wouldn't count, right? Like, because it doesn't, right? It's not the same as giving up a real goal. When I see the score is 4-2, it could have been 3-2 if they played 5-on-5. Like, they
still a loss though, so it doesn't matter.
Right, it doesn't matter. For people who don't know anything about hockey, in the last, say, 2 minutes, if you're behind, sometimes they pull their goalie and get an extra skater. So they have 6 players who can score instead of the normal 5, but they don't have a goalie, so it's a risk, but you're losing anyway. So that's what they often do.
It's usually the last 2 minutes. Yeah. Unless you're Patrick Waugh. He changed the game a few years ago. He pulled the goalie with 12 minutes left in the third period. Even the commentators are like, the goalie's leaving for Colorado, no penalty call. Patrick Waugh's pulling his goalie with 12 minutes left in the game, and then it ended up working out for him. But then he got fired because that was only one good thing. Anyway, sorry, jump in.
But the guy that scored the empty netter, Brad Marchand, help me. Which one is
Marchand? I think
he's awful. He's terrible. He's one of the dirtiest players in the league. One of the most unlikable players in the league. Just a real scumbag, and he scored on you guys.
Fuck. He's the one, Kyle, from last year who licked that guy.
Taylor, I'm gonna need you to put in a word with the Blues and beat him up kindly. The
way to deal with a guy like that is just to ignore him. Like,
but then he licks
he's already he's a good enough hockey player that you have to deal with that. But he's one guy I was worried about going into the series because he's so good for the Bruins. But last night he looked fucking bad. Like, the only thing he did all night was score an empty net goal. I was like watching him on the ice when his line was out there, and it's like, wow, he's by far the least dangerous dude on this line, which is good news for us as long as it stays that way. But yeah, our passing was awful. Like, we couldn't connect passes. It didn't look like the team that's been playing up to this point. And so I'm not too worried. It's game 1. You got all these last night on Twitter. You had all these like, oh, sky is falling Blues fans and all these smug ass Bruins fans. And everybody arguing about calls and things. But at the end of the day, it's game 1. I think the Blues will take game 2 in Boston. But really, I just hope the Blues don't get swept. I don't want that to continue to be a record.
I am worse than those people you talked about online. Throughout the entire game, my mental attitude was, whoever scored the most recent goal is clearly kicking ass. Yeah. It wasn't even like, oh, it's only game 1. It was like, oh no, we gave one up. They were doomed. And we, what are we gonna?
Hell yeah, I got you saying we.
yeah, I'm pulling for you. Yeah, definitely. And what's it been? 104 days since the Boston's won its last championship. Yeah. Fuck those guys.
That map that's like all over our hockey, where every single time there's a new series, it'll show, this is geographically where everyone's cheering for, and it'll have all of Canada and the U.S. pulled up. And for the finals, it was every single state in the country and Canada rooting for the Blues, except for Illinois because of Chicago, and they hate the Blues, so they want to see anyone but us win, and Boston. And that's it. Nobody wants to see Boston win a championship.
I agree. Oh, well, I've seen it before. It's not interesting anymore.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
It really does. And so I think that game was so bad that like I can't imagine them coming out and playing that poorly again. And sometimes people make complaints where it's like, oh man, like our team just played so bad, when really it's a mix of them playing so well and us playing not so well. But really, they weren't doing that great of a job of breaking up passing opportunities. Most of our flubbed passes were because we were passing and hitting the player's skate instead of their stick. Like it was more like they were beating themselves. That the breakout looked horrible. Our goaltending looked better than theirs.
I
so that's good news.
More holistic, like you're looking at the details, and that's great. I was like, well, Boston swept the round before, so they came out a little cold. They hadn't played hockey in a while.
Mm-hmm.
One period in, they got the cobwebs out and dominated. And I'm like, well, based on what I'm seeing, they'll dominate the next. Yeah. What do they have? 12 more periods?
Nine more periods. Sweep them.
Yeah. That's. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope that you're wrong as well, because that would pretty much.
You
suck.
are now
I have no expectations.
0-13 in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's we when we're trying to win, and it's you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's harder to win every year. It's going to be even harder when Seattle joins. Like it's never. Each Stanley Cup is harder to win than the one before. I feel like, because the league is just getting more and more skilled, more and more teams getting added. Like there's so much more sports science. Where like back in the 70s, they'd be like, this guy isn't very good, but he's 6'9" and his hands are the size of hams. And it's like, all right, well, put him on there, just in case. And now it's like there's no place in the world for that guy, because it's like, well, we ran the numbers and it turns out having this big oaf actually just causes penalties and makes it so our fast guys can't take advantage of it.
Taylor's conditioning is unreal. Yeah. I run in the summer. Who'd have thumped it? Welcome to 1950s hockey. But anyway, so I know Kyle's probably wanting to keep talking about more hockey, but I don't know.
So anyway, all hope is not lost. It's just game one.
No. Mm-hmm.
The teams
are
very evenly matched.
It
depends on the price. Like it's going to be even more expensive here than it is in Boston, because people here are starved. They sold $20 tickets to go to the Enterprise Center, which is where the Blues play downtown.
Mm-hmm.
The game was in Boston, but they had a watch party at the Enterprise,
and it looked sold out.
They sold out a watch party where it was just a bunch of people sitting in the arena watching the game on the giant Megatron. It is cool. Like people are so amped up over it here. Like it's really neat, because usually it's only the Cardinals that get that kind of attention. So I've got my fingers crossed. Like even coming and making it to the Stanley Cup Finals after being last in the league a handful of months ago is pretty impressive. And like I see this as like more the beginning of our real window. Like we finally have Binnington, a goalie who looks like he's not, because for years now, Jake Allen was supposed to be our guy. I remember like 5 years ago where they're like, this kid in the minors, Jake Allen, he's going to come up. He's going to be the guy. He's the dude. And David Backes, he's our captain. And then like 5 years went by and it's like, this Jake Allen guy has kind of sucked the entirety of his time here, and none of our other goalies are ready. And so we finally get Binnington up. We get Robert Thomas, who's an incredible rookie who is playing out of his mind right now. He's only going to go up from here, but you can like see real time his development. We got Vince Dunn, who's a great puck moving defenseman who unfortunately missed last game and a couple games at the end of the Sharks series because he caught a puck to the face and it broke his jaw. But they're thinking that he might be able to come out and play Wednesday and just rock a full cage, so he can't break his jaw worse than it's already broken. I looked.
Is his
at him,
mouth wired shut?
It looked like that when he was standing there watching the Blues move to the Stanley Cup. He was wearing like his suit and like he was like smiling, but it was more of a.
I imagine that hurt your
smile.
cardio if you can't open your mouth. I've never had that.
Yeah, but I think that's why they would put
he's a hockey player. I'm sure he'll just have his lips surgically removed.
That's good thinking. Yes.
And they keep him on ice, put him right back on after.
Can you somehow route your ear holes to your throat and breathe through them?
If there's a sport that needs that, it's hockey. Yes. But yeah, I'm super excited to keep watching it. I will get tickets if it's not too absurd, but like,
what's too absurd? Would you pay $800?
No, because I'd want to go with my girlfriend too. So I'd double anything.
I went without my family. I don't know if that makes me a bad person, but when the Canes, were playing for the Stanley Cup, I was like, they didn't even want to go. That like, I bet she was neutral on the idea. And the game, I think, went in triple overtime. It was the one that Brett Hull scored, that triple.
Yeah.
And I think they would have not enjoyed the experience at all. That's a lot of hockey.
It is. I would love to go. That would be sick. So it just depends on what the prices are when they come back here. If it's like $700-800,
I mean,
like for 2 tickets, that's like a.
So what are you, like 28? They should go again when you're 58.
That's true. I'll have more money by then. Also, so
I didn't think along those lines. I was saying
with inflation.
With inflation, the best time to buy is now, people. That's what you need to do. Well, who knows? We may never make it back, but like I feel like part of it is building confidence for a lot of these players. Like even our veterans who have gotten booted in the Western Conference Final or in the second round or first round for so many years, them getting this far, like Pietrangelo, Tarasenko, all those guys, Parayko, it's going to make them feel more confident and better.
You have one player who's been in the Cup. I think he lost it. He played for the Golden Knights. You might know who that is.
Yeah, David Perron. But that's fucking smug weirdo Pierre on NBC calls him David Perron. And it's like, I know he's from French Canada, but stop.
He's in Missouri now. That's not how we say it.
That dude sucks. That dude's the worst announcer ever. He'll be in the middle of the Stanley Cup Finals and something interesting is happening. He's like, actually, did you know that David Perron actually went to college in 2006 with David Backus briefly for a year in Ontario, and they played for the Moosehead Knights, and the guy who's actually talking about is like, that's great, Pierre. Anyway, Stanley Cup playoff game going on. The Blues dump it in, and trying to do.
I find that happens a lot when the game starts getting pushed to the general audience. Right, non-hockey fans are watching Stanley Cup games, so they start talking about like guys' kids and shit like that. Olympics, they do it a ton. If you watch like the collegiate NCAA championships, they're not talking about their background, their little brother being sick, or any of that bullshit. They're talking about swimming. When you go to the Olympics, all of a sudden, they latch on to someone's, autistic younger brother and how they still manage to swim in spite of that deficiency. It's like
that does make sense. It's like, how did you manage to get out there and swim knowing your brother was in the other room looking at train sets?
Right? Yeah, I just swam.
It inspired me to swim harder.
Yeah, I'm socially awkward because I spend 6 hours a day with my face in the water. Is there someone else you want to interview?
Yeah. So anyway, we can get off hockey. I'm stoked to be there, and I think it's going to be a good series.
Is
Kyle,
this
what's new
background noise coming through the mic very much? Did you guys notice it?
No, I can't hear anything.
Oh, great.
You guys both sound crystal clear to me.
We're having our air conditioner replaced on the second floor and new ductwork and all this stuff. But for the next 3 days, I have like portable units. I was afraid it was too loud. It gives us hope that Chiz can get on the show.
Yeah. In case I gotta get that damn AC fixed. It's summer. Now's the time. So, Kyle, have you played any 12-hour sessions of Rust in the last few days? Or are you taking a bit of a break?
I'm not an amateur. 12 hours?
Yeah.
14, 16.
Anything done in 12 hours.
An apology is in order, Taylor.
Been absolutely dominating the Rust server that we're on right now. Just absolutely dominating it. It has a leaderboard, so you can see like who's collected the most resources and who's gotten the most kills and stuff. And I'm just really, really pulled it.
How are you doing individually? Are you
good?
I was wondering, are you more of a hands-off manager in this, or are you literally like a guy
It's a duo server, so there's just two of us.
Oh, well, yeah, you can't get very far just managing in a two-person team.
No, not really, no. Yeah, having a great time. Having a great time with that. I was wanted to talk about this lady who fell off the zip line, though, that I saw today. Did you see this?
No, I did not. That sounds hilarious.
Oh, my fucking God. I linked it right here.
It's in What the Fuck, so maybe she got hurt. I don't like that.
Oh, she gets hurt. Oh, she gets hurt.
Does she survive? I don't know if she survives.
Yes, she fractured some vertebrae and broke a couple of limbs.
You need all of those things.
Those are really important.
Yeah. But this one kind of hit home for me because I've done a lot of zip lining. I mean, it's not like I go every weekend or anything, but I've been 5 times, I think. I used to own a zip line, and this is rough.
I went zip lining once with Kyle, but I'm queued up at 0.
Yeah.
Ready, set, play.
Whee!
Whoa! Holy shit. It just immediately snapped.
Yeah, I actually kind of... let me turn the audio off. I kind of like freeze framed it earlier, and it looks like maybe the carabiner has some short thing that, like between her harness and the carabiner, because
Yeah, something there popped, and she just falls. What I'm gonna guesstimate 40 feet, like down to the dirt.
the beaner.
Ugh.
I
That's
don't
fucked up.
understand did the carabiner break?
The carabiner broke, or like the thing attached to it broke, like something right there. But obviously the cable doesn't break, but something between harness and cable broke.
I think I'm seeing the carabiner still on that red cable. So yeah, the carabiner was good. The harness was good. Whatever connected the two was not so good. When we did it, we had 2 things that we hooked in. So if one failed, we were still okay.
That's right.
That was a better system, and I can see why.
The one that I had at home was a very beefy system too. There's 2 clips, and they're big. That looks like a smaller carabiner than what I had. I had this big daddy carabiner that was like you wrapped your whole hand around. It wasn't just one of the ones you operate with 2 fingers. It was clunk, and that I mean, it's your life. I feel like the guy watching her fall doesn't react nearly strongly enough. He's just kind of like, shit.
Do you know if it's America?
Clean up at jump 3.
I have this idea that it's not America, and maybe they're don't give a shit.
Looser regulations, maybe.
Yeah.
Like if some guy gets eaten by a shark on like a Jamaican swimming thing, all they do is go back to the ledger and be like, "How many people came out with us? 13. I make it 12." And it's like that's all. Nothing's gonna happen, man.
Change the ledger to 12 and bring a shovel tomorrow.
Yeah. So like, you owned a zip line. I had it like when you said that initially. I'm like, that is the most hilarious business venture. I can't believe I've never
I didn't have to
heard
pay
about.
for it.
It was for the thing that Optic Hex and X-Jaws was in, maybe?
Yeah. It was like $10,000 of...
I mean, I thought you were offering it to the public. Like you were having people come over and do that. Like,
although your idea is funnier.
Bootleg zipline business.
No, it was legit as hell. It was like they put a foam pole on the ground way up on the hill. It ran all the way down to the end of the valley, and I wouldn't even strap in. I would just hold on, and at the end I would drop out. And like do like a tactical thing, and then we I used it for videos and stuff. It was fun. It was really fun.
What an awful idea. I wouldn't even clip in because I played FPS Russia on video, and
because I had 2
and the
guns.
character I think I am doesn't need that.
That's absolutely accurate. And I'm also a grown man, so I have the grip strength of a grown man, not a woman. Like my favorite videos of people failing are when women think that they can swing from like a river type swing with a trapeze handle, but they've never supported their own body weight before. But like,
it's always the extremes in women, right? It's either a 250-pound woman that doesn't realize she has normal woman grip strength, or like a 95-pound woman that doesn't realize she has subnormal grip strength.
Yeah, and they just
we facilitate these injuries when we play into fat people when they go, no, but there's a ton of muscle under this. I'm really strong. It's like, no, there's not.
There can be.
To the kitchen 5 times a day is not
the
same thing. It's like you're not a guy. You're not a big fat fucking Midwest country boy who.
That's
just
the guy
eats a
I'm
ton
thinking
bacon,
of.
Whose throat my grandpa
or like Pam from Archer.
Is a definitely overweight guy.
You're not Pam from Archer. You're Roseanne from Roseanne. All right, you're not going to be able to do this.
Does corn-fed describe the guy that Taylor just described? Is that what corn-fed means? Like
a Midwestern Bubba. That's what corn-fed means.
Like a thick guy who's throwing hay bales over his shoulder, is strong as fuck, but he just has that.
But not at all ripped because he survives on bacon and soda.
Yeah, well,
pretty much.
And he utilizes that heft that he's got. He needs that as a counterweight.
Picture Roy Big Country Nelson.
Yeah, Roy Nelson type. He's corn-fed for sure.
Is Roy corn-fed? I thought he went past corn-fed to maybe
bacon-fed,
peanut M&M fed or something.
He's fed.
I get my protein from peanut M&Ms.
But yeah,
you're right about the women doing the river thing. I could just from you saying that, it's like. I can fit 500 clips of that exact thing happening in my head that I've watched. And they should have a questionnaire where it's like, can you do a pull-up? And if you can't, sorry, you can't play on this device.
Absolutely.
Like,
A pull up should be the minimum.
A pull-up
but like
is hard.
But like I can hold.
It's
I can hold
harder,
myself.
but you have to hold longer, and you're dealing with like forward momentum.
It should be harder though, because we're not 2 feet off the ground.
You're right.
Yeah.
My mind went through the same. It's harder, but it's like a word. If I have a carabiner that holds 200 pounds and I weigh 200 pounds, that's the wrong carabiner.
Yeah.
I need one that holds 600 pounds, right?
Yep.
That's why you should be able to do a pull-up, even though a pull-up is harder.
Yeah, you don't go and like by climbing rope. What tensile strength you need, brah? Let's see what I weigh. No. You want 1,200 pounds of tensile strength.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with roller coasters.
I don't know. I bought one of those ropes one time. They're very expensive, like climbing ropes, like legitimate, like mountain climbing ropes. When we did that thing when I was beneath the helicopter, and I remember we had that conversation about like tensile strength, and it was hundreds of pounds. It may have been 800 or 1,000 or something like that. And they sell it by the foot. It was stupid expensive. But yeah, I had no problem hanging on from. Yeah, you do it a couple times, and I think if there was no point on my zip line where if I fell off, I felt like I would die, maybe break an arm. But like it was more about the speed than it was the height
your
off
zip
the ground.
line. I thought you were talking about the helicopter thing.
Oh fuck yeah!
No.
If I come out of that, I'm dead.
Yeah. People will sometimes get the wrong idea. Like I'm translating it to paramotors, but they'll be like, "I'm 40 feet up, so that's not that dangerous, right?" No, bro. Stand on the edge of your second-story roof, and you'll think you're about to die. Yet somehow that feels chill to you.
Yeah,
Because
I fell 5.5 feet a few days ago, and I feel like I was hit by a car.
That's great.
Basically, what happened is to begin the story, I'm a very active sleeper. When I sleep, I roll around a lot. Like I move around a lot when I sleep.
What a terror!
It sounds a little dangerous to sleep next to Taylor.
It sounds a little frightening.
I'm not like throwing punches or anything. It's
as
just
far as you know,
I roll around a lot.
You wake up, she's got a black eye.
Yeah, who knows you're not throwing elbows?
She fell into a doorknob again. But like, so basically what happened is my buddy was having a bachelor party. We rented out this big like mansion, kind of really nice house and on the lake, in the Lake of the Ozarks, to go boating and do a bunch of fun shit and all the bars and summer life there. And it's a lot of fun on Memorial Day, a ton of people. And I got there not late, but after the core group of like people got there that took all of the good beds on the lower bunks. So I was like, fuck. And so I had the option to take an upper bed or just sleep on the floor. And it was hardwood floor everywhere. And so I was like, fuck this. I'm taking a mattress. And so I put all my stuff on a top bunk, and it had, you know how on top bunks, it's just a twin size little shitty kind of camp style mattress, but it's got like a bar, a wooden plank on the side that purportedly is meant to keep you in if you roll into the side of a bed.
It wasn't built for Hulka-Durka over there.
It was apparently not. And so I got up there the second night. Thank God this didn't happen the first night. It happened the second night before we were going to leave the following morning. And I get up there. It's late at night. Everybody's, falling asleep. And I get up there, fall asleep decently quickly. And I awake to slamming on the ground on this hardwood. And what happened is this bar, this plank that was about this wide, maybe like 2.5 inches, 3 inches in width. I rolled into that, knocked that off. And so it was falling, but I continued to roll. And so as I'm falling, this plank is falling directly under me. And I land on the plank on the hardwood floor, making the landing even worse because there's less area distributed, right on my right cheek ass meat. My right ass
Good choice,
cheek
though.
meat. Well, I was asleep. I didn't wake up till I hit the ground, and I didn't remember any of this because apparently all I did was just get back up and go back to bed.
I almost said you're lucky you didn't hit your head, and then I realized who I was talking to, and Homer would have been fine.
I did hit my head. There's a big lump back here,
and you're fine.
I slammed it in there. I got like bruised on my ribs over here somehow. Like I really just fell hard, and I don't remember what I said afterward. I just remember like standing up and being like really just befuddled and confused and in pain. But all I did was just I think I went pee, and then I kind of waddled back to bed and went back to sleep.
All this,
and the next morning, my buddy was like. Everybody there was like, dude, I was in the military, and when I heard that, I woke up and my heart was beating like someone was attacking us. And I was in a full-on panic mode because it sounded like someone had just broken down the front door. And everyone was like, oh, yeah, dude, I was so scared. Like, I had no idea what that was. Like, it was the loudest thing. And this guy's like, the whole house shook. This is a really big house. And my buddy was sleeping in the same room. He was like, yeah, I woke up when it happened. And then I looked up. And I just saw Taylor standing there like dazed and confused going, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then he just went pee and went back to bed.
So how much memory of this do you have? Like, you make it sound like you weren't awake.
I was like, well, the whole fall and everything, I was asleep. Like,
okay.
I didn't wake up until I hit the ground. I vaguely remember like going pee and then going back to bed because I was so tired I didn't fully register how far I just fell or what happened. But the next day, like the bruises started to show and come in. And so like as I went up the next morning to have breakfast, I went in the bathroom and like checked my right ass cheek, which took the brunt of the damage, my right ass cheek.
Good choice.
Thank God I didn't like rotate more. I could have hurt my coccyx. And so I went up there and like checked my ass cheek and was like, okay, not just a little bit of a bruise right now. We'll see. Over the next few hours, and it's still continuing to now, there is a giant bruise. It is black, and if you had to use a band name to describe my bruise, it'd be Deep Purple. Like that, it really, really dark, ugly ass bruise. The worst bruise I've ever had.
Wow.
And it's like exactly in the shape of that pole that I landed on. Like it looks like California almost, like on my ass, like spreading the whole way. And I'm uncomfortable right now. It is so uncomfortable and painful to sit.
I wonder if you need to do anything. Like,
nah, I'll be fine.
Are you at clot risk?
I don't think so.
You're fine until the butt aneurysm works its way to your brain.
Yeah, I hope not. We'll see though. I looked up some bad bruises online, and that always makes you feel better.
Maybe you need some baby aspirin, or absolutely don't take baby aspirin. One of those.
One of those is essential. Don't get it wrong though. But over the past couple days, the ass bruise has been growing. It is so difficult to sleep because I can't sleep I don't like sleeping on my stomach. I'm not a stomach sleeper.
Okay.
I like to sleep on my side, but I can't sleep on my right side because my ass is so fucking sore that I can't put the weight on it. I don't like sleeping on my left side for too long because my ribs will start getting too sore. And so like every 90 minutes, I'm like getting up and readjusting, just going, taking shits. Awful. Just awful. I figured that I can like lean forward a lot while I'm shitting to get a lot of the ass meat out of pressure zone. And so I have to do that. And so it's been an interesting couple days. I think that
it's Tuesday now. Did you say this was Saturday night?
This was Saturday night, but I think it happened at like 2 a.m. Like everybody was stone asleep. And so it's been about 3 days, almost 2.5 days. And it's gonna be like in a week, I bet my whole right ass cheek is that yellow-green bruise kind of thing, the really gross looking one. And so that fucking sucked. It is the scariest way to wake up. And it really opened your eyes because you were saying like, oh, you wouldn't want to fall 40 feet. It's like, no, dude, you don't want to fall 5.5 feet. Granted, I would have done a lot better if I was awake falling, so I could have braced myself or something.
You might have broke your wrist.
Apparently, I hit something there.
You landed on your butt. That is a prime choice. When parachutists do their thing, they kind of go feet, legs, butt. And like it sounds like the places that you hit, butt, maybe a little rib, are places that people try to hit when they fall well.
Yeah.
Conscious Taylor might have put his wrist out there.
That's true. I fell like a sack of potatoes. Like the biggest sack of potatoes. I wish there was a video of it because that must be hilarious to see my reaction.
So your friends weren't ultra concerned. They were like,
not at all.
Homer Simpson hit his head. This is not an issue.
No, they didn't give a fuck. Because we were all joking about it, and I was more just laughing it off too. Or it was like, God, my ass fucking hurts, but what are you gonna do? There's not much to be done.
The next day, but the night of, I guess they woke and saw you standing already. It
was like a couple different rooms of a bunch of beds, and I didn't stay awake long enough for anybody to come ask if I was okay. I guarantee they wouldn't have because everybody was asleep. Like they probably just heard a big noise and ignored it. But that was not fun. That was a really shitty way to, and then I had to drive back home from the Ozarks in my buddy's car in the back. And every time we would take a left turn, put all the pressure on my right ass cheek, I'd be like, having to push
Wow.
myself up. That sucked.
It's a problem
Driving
if
around
that
today
hurts.
was horrible because, like, when you're driving, you use your right foot. You can't like do a goofy, I'm sitting half up here and still driving with my foot. That's dangerous. And so I was just having to deal with that. And every time I get out of the car, it feels okay right now on my on this whatever the fuck gaming chair. Maybe I'll hang out on this. But so there's the story of me bruising my ass meat.
Yeah,
Bowling
that sounds
sucks.
awful.
Yeah.
It does. That was the worst bruise I've ever had in my whole life. What is the worst bruise you guys have ever had?
I was riding a bicycle down a really steep hill, and I must have been going about 300 miles per hour.
Mm.
And at
What
the
is
bottom,
the
it
speed of
turned
sound?
No
Yeah,
hyperbole. 100 miles.
around 750 miles per hour. I think
Wow.
is the speed of sound.
Keep
He
trying.
was
And-
passing his neighbors' houses, and they were like, "Look at that boy!" And then I'd hear a
Break
All
the
the glass
windows.
shatters. Yeah. And at the bottom, it turned from asphalt to gravel, and there was also a little bit of a turn that needed to be made. Not a big one, like not a right angle, but I needed to lean. And when I leaned, the tires just slid out from under me, and so my right ass cheek and right thigh just hit gravel so hard. And it was kind of what you're describing. It was like most of my right ass cheek and my entire right thigh was just awful. And then
was it that
Another time-
purplish like?
oh yeah,
Black
purple.
look?
It,
Yeah.
it hit the colors of the rainbow by the time it was over. And then another time I was playing paintball. I've had some bad paintball bruises, but those are. It's more about how many there are than how bad each.
Yeah, then the
individual
like
one is.
intensity itself.
But I fell and my knee hit this piece of farm equipment that you put. It's like a hay distribution thing for cows. You dump a whole hay bale into it, and it's got slots because cows are fucking stupid. They'll just like stomp and shit the hay into the ground, and like 80% of it's wasted. So you put it in this thing with slots in it so that they eat it all. And it had like this stump of steel that I just slammed my knee into when I was sort of like running and like doing a knee slide. And it made a knot in my knee for it felt like months before the knot dissolved in there. Those are two of the worst of memory for sure. Those are bad.
Yeah, that's a rough
I
one.
don't think I can hang with your bruise. Like I honestly, I would have to count up how many bones I've broken or stitches I've had. But I don't think I've ever had a bruise I'd describe as black, like Taylor has now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That surprises me. I feel like you would have
Right?
Like
ran
hockey,
into
maybe.
one or two, like get caught in the back of the calf when your own defenseman is shooting in hockey, or it's something like that.
Maybe I'm not a big bruiser in that. Maybe
Do you ever get that hard knot in the center of the bruise?
Sure. I mean, I'd get that on my face from paintball sometimes. Like, during the healing process of that, I think my paintball mask is a little small for my head.
That's your worst bruise, by the way.
Oh,
That's
wait.
it.
Just take a pause there. I'm not 100% sure which one you're talking about. There's the chin and the forehead, which were both rivaling one another.
It was
The forehead was rough, I think.
The
I think
forehead.
that was the number one.
That was just more recent. The chin was rough. I
I
remember.
remember-
I mean, Eric Farewell hurt my feelings. I came back to like the VIP room or something, and he goes, "Dude, you got fucked up." But it made me feel like I was really bad at paintball. No, I'm not especially good at paintball, but it was really just like I got shot in a bad place. You know, like we all get shot. Yeah,
shot.
you never get shot. Well, that must be nice.
Never once.
Yeah, I came and not only was there a big like, it wasn't bloody like you might think when I say bloody. It was just like oozing blood. Yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't
because the way a
cut.
paintball cuts you, it's a really weird material, the paintball shell, because it has to withstand that initial punch of air that sends it out. So it has to have the tensile strength for that, but it also has to be brittle enough to break on your skin. And those are two differing qualities. So what it does when it hits you, it breaks and fragments into all of these pieces of shrapnel that give you like lots of little thin cuts in one tiny little area as it breaks and like shatters on your face. And so it's not like a cut from a knife. It's like you just took a whole handful of eggshells and just ground them into a wound. It can be nasty. The one you had on your forehead though.
That was terrible. I remember this. Taylor was choosing a face mask, and he grabbed the biggest face mask he could find because Taylor knows who he is. I, on the other hand, am stupid. And it's like, well, this one makes me look like a wasp, so I'm going to choose that. And then it turns out most of the time I play paintball, I get shot in the face somewhere awfully.
I had like a 50-50 rationale for that mask. Half of it was I saw those cool looking masks and I was like, that is not going to fit me. I think I tried one on and I had like eyebrows sticking out of it. And then the other side of it was the fact
this isn't safe at all.
I was just looking over it and it's coming up above my chin on the bottom. But then the other part of it was like, now I'm a noob, but when I see someone with a high class, really nice mask, I target them more. Meanwhile, when I see like the black, almost handed out to everyone kind of mask, I just assume, the JT special, I just assume, okay, that guy's probably not as big of a threat. And so I don't want to be perceived as a threat. I want to be just a guy out there with your JT mask and your Titman 98 or whatever gun I used. I don't remember which one it was, but it was fun.
Yeah, I really like those low profile masks. I always wear a it's like a padded. It's a combination of like 3 different headdresses. Really, it's got like a sweatband, like a really thick, nice one that goes around here, and I soak that in ice water before I go out. And then this like headdress that goes over the top and down the back of your neck, so it protects your forehead, the top of your head, and the back of your neck. And I always put that on and then squeeze the mask over it, and I feel pretty safe.
I see a lot of people wear beanies when they wear those masks, because then I guess you get bounces way more easy.
Absolutely.
But also, usually you're not playing in beanie appropriate weather, which is just not a good trade-off.
Going forward, I would wear much better protection, but I get hot. I think partly I'm just not built to handle heat very well, and partly like I carry more body fat than like Kyle, Filthy, and T-Mart, So I just get hot out there when I'm running around a lot, and prefer not to have like a beanie, for example, just heat me up.
So some of those trips we went on were so hot. I remember when that, I don't know if you were on this one, Taylor, but remember that kid who was like a fan and like he was sitting on the black asphalt in like, sometimes the sun is like beating down so bright that you open a door, it's a little shaded inside, and it's just white. Like your eyes have to. It's like that. It's like you see that effect in movies sometimes, like
vampire movies. Yeah.
It was so hot that I'm gonna say it was literally 90. I'm not gonna exaggerate. 94, 95 maybe. High humidity. South.
And you're
Chicago.
running around constantly.
We're running around constantly, so we're drinking a lot of fluids and yet not pissing. That's how you know you're working hard. It's when you've had like 8 Gatorades today and you pissed once and it was just a tinkle. It's like, and it was the color of fucking gold. You're like, I don't know if things are working out on the inside. I feel bad. I come back in from a hard I don't know. I'd been out a long time before I got shot, and I come back in and I'm just like, let me get to those Gatorades, and I'm cracking them open and fucking killing one. And I just finally relax a little bit. My thighs are burning. I'm sitting there trying to relax for 10 before I go back out. And I look through the glass doors. There's these double doors, kind of like you'd have in high school, that have the panels of glass in them. And there this kid is, 14, 15, 16, sitting cross-legged Indian style on black asphalt with no sunglasses, headgear, or of any kind. And he's just looking straight down at his knees. And I'm just like,
know if you should give him water to drink or pour it on top of him.
Yeah, I was look dejected.
I was like, "How long's he been out there?" And everybody's like, "Huh?" I'm like, "The kid, look at him. We got to get this guy some fluids."
Yeah.
Did you go over there like, shh?
I was legitimately he didn't have the skin tone for that. I'm a little pale. But especially in the summertime, like in that year for sure, because I've been out getting ready for paintball, I had a tan. This kid was pale, and he was doing that thing that pale women do when they get hot and sweaty, where he's almost got rosacea, his cheeks are just red, beet red, and he looked dreadful. He was gonna die. I saved a life that day. There were a lot of those trips. It was just hot as balls out there.
It was so much fun though. Like
You-
you don't notice the heat that much. It's more like when you get
I was
knocked out.
acutely aware of the heat. I don't
Well,
know.
like you know what I mean? Where like you're in the middle of playing
Yeah.
and you're thinking way more about I gotta get that guy. You wipe the condensation off, and then you'll get shot and get out, and you'll be like, "Oh, it's so fucking hot."
I really didn't notice how hot it was until I got back to that ice cold room, and I could feel all the sweat on me. Like when you were out there, it was kind of like, well, this is just life. But like back in that room, you could feel every drop of sweat on you. I always loved that shower after a full day of paintball. Like looking, like washing my hair and looking down at the bottom of the shower at like blue, green, yellow, red. I think that one's blood. Just everything's just spread it, just doing a whirlpool at the bottom of the shower. Oh,
I remember
just
taking
counting
a
the
few
bruises.
extra minutes to pee, like in that little bathroom they had in the back area, because there was a vent like that came down directly on you as you were peeing, and like I'd finish peeing and be like, I'm just gonna stand here for just a handful of minutes.
I'd use that shower, or I'd use that sink in there to wash my hair.
Mhm.
Like I just soak my hair in that sink with cold. The water as cold as it would go, and then I would go out like that. That always felt really nice to like go out with completely soaked hair. It was it just that's where that's where you're hot anyway.
So
You
people
gotta
wear
cool that rain down.
handkerchiefs, and that was like it's like a padded handkerchief. I think it's a paintball accessory that you could probably get wet and do that with.
Yeah. That's good shit. I've
Is
kind of
it-
made.
Is it like 100 down there, Kyle? It's 100 here.
I went out for 20 minutes today, and I didn't like it, so I came back in. I checked the mail, and I got a new neighbor. I spoke to him for a minute, and I was like, "It's fucking hot, huh?" He's like, "Yeah." All right, bye. And I went back inside.
I had a paramotor repair to make today, and I had this plan for quite some time. The garage gets cooled off, even though it's 100 outside. The garage is insulated, but not air conditioned or anything. And I step out, and Jackie's with me, and I realized she left the garage door open for about 20 minutes. And I was like, no, it's 100 in here. Like, it's so hot. It's terrible. And she felt bad. I had to, like, walk it back. I'm like, no, honey, it's fine. I don't mind.
Okay.
You know how good I am with heat.
It's 92 here to answer
Is
your
it?
question.
I think
I
it's
just looked it up real quick. It's hotter there if it's anywhere.
It's only like 87, 88 here, but it's 50% humidity. I got so wet just standing in my garage putting together my weed whacker yesterday. Like just putting it together, I got soaked.
96 here.
Whew. That is hot. Did you guys see the Wings Redemption whole controversy?
No.
I did. You're gonna have to fill me in. I have no idea.
Oh, but I'm kind of... I'm a bad person because I'm excited to hear about it.
This is a good one. All right.
I can see from your face. It's a good one.
It's a good one. Frankly, he deserves it. He said what he said.
We've all said things that we don't want consequences for.
Yeah, but frankly, I think we're all saying them as jokes. And he was like making like I think if you have a high EQ/IQ and you watch us say some of the horrible things we say, you're like, oh, that's tongue in cheek. And then later on, I think we all have like a serious tone, serious voice that we'll put on. Like sometimes we'll talk about Donald Trump, and it's like, yeah, I think he's gonna be great. Maybe he'll take over Puerto Rico and the Solomon Islands too. And that's tongue in cheek. And then, hang on, I think I'm being rated. Am I being fucking rated?
Oh no!
Oh no! Tell your partner boy to get in there and help, or get one of your many slaves.
Is your partner MIDI?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
This is interesting. The look.
All right, it's not. It's
Okay.
I don't think it's that. There are minicopters in the game. I'll get back to the wings thing because it is funny. There are minicopters in the game, and to keep people from hoarding them all, because there's only 15 on the entire map, they decay. And so we had one upstairs. We have like a garage that we keep them in. It just exploded above my head. Like I've got the game in the background. I'm not playing the game, just to be clear. But like it exploded, and it's the same noise that a rocket makes when it hits your base. And so my heart just fuck like we've got an insane base. It would be hard to get in, but I don't want to get raided.
Did you see the Apex Legends release notes? That was hilarious to me.
Mm-mm.
Oh, so I've never even played the game, but I've read the release notes because I'm still in touch with the world. And they're like, we changed the sound effect for when you get a headshot that breaks armor. Breaking armor sounds like and a headshot sounds like pating. So this sounds like Pakoosh. And I'm like, this is in the release notes. Like, this guy's great. But anyway.
Those noises are important. Like
Yeah.
very sad. I'm sure you remember COD 4. It had that ting when you get a headshot.
Mm-hmm.
Headshots weren't super important in COD 4, I didn't think. One more bullet to the body.
They were satisfying, though.
They were satisfying.
But you wanted to know it.
And Rust, it's like double damage. And when you get a headshot, it makes this crunchy, like, kind of noise. And it's like, triple headshot! Fucking fucked him! All right, so here's what Wings did. He plays Rainbow Six, as we all know. There are different operators in that game. You can play. They have names like this is making names up. Rocky, and this is Prickly Pete, and like Prickly Pete has like his own class. Like maybe he's like a guy with a pistol, a riot shield, and some explosives. And Rocky, maybe he's like a shotgunner with some C4. And like Dean is like a guy with a sniper rifle. And they're always sort of that class of guy. And so anyway, one of the operators is a masculine looking woman. And she's got like muscles and she's a masculine looking woman. And they were speculating whether she was transsexual or not. And Wings said, essentially, there's good trans and there's bad trans. So the bad and the guy goes,
meaning
what?
like attractive versus not.
The guy goes,
I'm going to guess One Direction is good. Go on.
The guy goes, what are you talking about, man? He goes, well, sometimes it just looks like a dude with a pirate tattoo, a beard, and some lipstick. And then he made a few more comments. Well, that got picked up by some website.
Oh, no.
And they did an article about it. They did
an article about Wings?
About Jordy, Wings of Redemption, Jordan, and then they played the clip of him saying that if his son were gay, then he would beat him to death. And
Did
then
he really say
that's
that?
from a while ago. That's an old one. Did he re-say it? Did he?
No, they play that clip, specifically that clip from the show, and you and I are of course going. I think it starts off with me going like, I don't understand why people are opposed to gay marriage. I don't get it. It has bigger things to focus on.
We're in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you say, and then Wings says he'll beat his son to death if he's gay, and you say, come on, Wings, that like you're trying to like correct him, and I come in with like, yeah, that'll make him straight, a good beating. We're both disagreeing with him strongly, and he's like, look. He shuts us both down. Like you're trying to go, come on, Wings, and I'm trying to make a joke. And he goes, look, you're my son. You got two choices: be straight, or I beat your fucking ass.
Oh no! Oh no!
So he tweeted like after his transphobic remarks, let's just say, and he was like, sorry guys, I was in a bad mood.
Oh, I didn't realize he was in a bad mood. Now that I know,
and I was on Ambien.
Right,
dude. That genuinely is the funniest way to respond to like an outrage article. Is just him going, "Sorry guys, real bad mood the other day." That's pretty funny.
Jordy's
now saying he was in a bad mood.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey was better. I'm gay.
I was in a bad mood. Also, I'm gay.
I now choose to live life as a gay man who rapes boys.
That's crazy. They delved that far back to find another clip of Wings.
Well, it's not.
I'm like, what did they consult with, like Sean Franklin? Like, we're doing an article on Wings. You got any footage for us? Oh,
they just did a YouTube search. All you gotta do is do like Wings of Redemption, transphobic or homophobic, and you'll get some hits.
Huh?
I can't. Do you think he was goofing?
No, he was being very serious about. Well, I mean,
which one?
Like,
both? Do you think he?
Oh, he was. Yeah, I think he's serious about both. He's probably matured a bit on the gay thing, but last week he certainly thought that like there's good trans and bad trans, and the bad trans are the ones that still look like a dude.
Look like what did he say? A pirate, a handkerchief, lipstick, and a beard.
I'm misquoting him a bit, and he hates that. He acts like I've missed the complete point of what he said if I get like a syllable wrong. But he basically said like it's like a guy with a beard and a pirate tattoo wearing lipstick. That was his example of like bad trans. Good stuff. Good
I was
stuff.
in a bad mood. That's so funny.
It's in a bad mood. Sorry, guys.
Well, I do feel kind of bad for him, like getting ripped up. Although it doesn't look like really anybody cares about this.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know.
This article.
Is it possible to hurt Wings more? Like, Wings wakes up every day to an industry of picking his lows and making compilations. Is it possible to, like, hurt him there anymore?
Maybe it's a positive even. Maybe it's driving more people towards his channel. I have no idea.
Yeah, you can't hurt Wing. Well, I mean, you can hurt his feelings, but you can't like hurt his viewership. Like the more if he would just embrace it and just amp it, get a writer, maybe someone who could give you some horrible things to say.
Do you know anyone like that, Kyle?
Oh, I know 2 or 3. If he would just every day he'd just say something awful, about just something awful.
Something awful that wouldn't get him banned from Twitch. I mean, I feel like he could walk that line for a while.
Yeah,
a long
absolutely.
while.
Yeah, Midi's soundboard is full of Wings of Redemption stuff. So sometimes people will camp outside your base and they'll like try to talk shit to you or whatever, and he'll reply with like, "I hate my life. I just wanted to have a good game. I just wanted to have a good stream. Y'all just keep fucking with me." Slams it, and they're like, bro, chill, we'll leave. It's cool, man. It's just rust. And then
It's a game.
Oh.
And then he'll hit him with a look here, look, listen.
Look here, look, listen. Yeah.
And he's got all of these Alex Jones. He's got these Alex Jones quotes that go on for like a solid 60 seconds of Alex ranting. He's like, I'm a human being. I'm a throwback. This is how people have always been. And this is how I am now. I like to fight too. I like to eat. I like to have children. Ah!
Have you seen like that edit of like the soundboard where he's like, "I'm real. I'm a throwback. I love to fuck. I love to fight. I want to have children. I want to fuck children." We'll just like edit that word.
I like to fight too.
Yeah, I like to fight too.
I got blood going through my heart fast.
Did you see him on the JRE? I think he was trying to rough up Eddie Bravo.
Oh, it was when Bravo. I saw part of that clip where he said something that was like he was trolling Alex.
Yeah.
And Alex did not appreciate it and immediately was just like, "They're fucking doing it right now, Bravo! I can send you links! And he's like, Alex, I'm joking with you, buddy. I'm joking.
Took him a while to be sane enough to understand that he was talking him back down. He was goofing. I could see that Eddie Bravo was fucking with him.
Mm-hmm.
But even when Eddie Bravo told Alex he was fucking with him, he still didn't recognize it. He was over the edge. But I would have really liked it if he had made a bad decision and kept pushing that thing to fight Eddie Bravo.
You should have. It would have been funny.
I like to fight too.
What did he say? Like, okay, I'm a moron or something like that. And then like that became a soundboard thing.
I'm going to level with you. I'm kind of retarded.
That's probably it. Yeah, that's it.
I'm kind of retarded. that's such a funny soundboard. You'd be hard pressed to find a funnier overall soundboard than Alex Jones.
Yeah, he's got
Like,
a
who
lot of
could
those the Alex Jones quotes, and they're really fucking funny to use on people. Like some people have no idea who Alex Jones is, so they just think there's an insane man inside the space playing Rust. And some people get really tickled by it. They're like, "Oh, you got Alex Jones, man! Hell yeah!" And they're just laughing along with us.
Does it ever change their behavior? Does it ever like make a friend or?
Yeah. Like we were on top of these guys' base, and we were waiting on them to come out the door to kill them, and then we start playing Alex.
Wait,
Jones.
you were roof camping?
Roof camping is when you're on your roof with a sniper rifle, just shooting nakeds. Like you're safe. And
I'm
and
sorry. All right, my mistake.
We were door camping.
Wait, is that bad also?
Some people think it is, but they're fucking stupid. The same people who think you shouldn't be. There are a lot of people who are bad at the game, and they come up with a lot of fake rules to protect themselves, essentially.
Okay.
Like if you don't get door camped, add some windows and a shop front. Then you can see outside your door, and it won't happen. They're just people who are bad at the game. And the same thing for the people who are like, "Dude, I was naked. You're killing naked people." It's like, put some fucking clothes on. Put some clothes on. And
this is my invulnerability shield. My wang.
Exactly. They like to, and it's not like they just started the game. They'll just like leave their base, strip naked, and go like farming for ore and components and stuff. And they'll be like, "Hey, I just started. I don't have anything," and you'll kill them with a gun, and they're just loaded with gear and shit, and their pockets are full. So yeah, fuck those people. I shoot everybody.
I have some Rust questions. Does having clothes impact your capacity, like a backpack?
No.
No.
You've got a set number of slots that they can carry things in. We would love a backpack. That would be cool. So no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Clothes are all about protecting you from radiation, the cold, laceration, and impacts like arrows and bullets. Yeah.
Makes sense.
And there's lots of tiers of clothes and armor and stuff like that.
Do some
Anybody
people
else
can
out
you
there?
look the same the whole time? Like
You have no choice.
Oh, okay, that's the body though. But I've seen people. It seems like they get recognized from their YouTube videos, or maybe from earlier in the game when I saw you. But I don't understand why. Like, if hypothetically I kill you, you
Got a
come back
name
2
above your
hours later. Oh, there's a name. I talked over if you didn't hear. There's a name above you. Like, I'm imagining it to be like Minecraft. That's how they know. Because I'm like, if I kill Kyle, then he comes back. Isn't he dressed all differently? The name.
Yeah.
All right.
Although, like every wipe, I pick a uniform and we wear that uniform the whole time. You know, we're always going to wear the best armor essentially. So that's not going to change. It's just the
But you
the
lose
skin.
it, right? If you die,
If you die, you lose it. I don't think I've lost a gear set this
Oh.
entire week. I don't think I've died. I don't think anybody's killed me and taken my shit.
I see.
I've killed. But you can skin. So every face mask looks the same. It starts out like gray metal, and you can put a skin on it and make it. There's like 100 skins or something, and I pay like $10 so that it unlocks what's called a skin box. So instead of buying skins from Rust, like one face mask skin could be $200 or $300, which is absurd, right? This is like CS:GO skins and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I pay $10 and I get access to every skin that's ever been made, essentially for every single item, for my one $10
It's like
purchase.
iTunes versus Spotify. You paid for a subscription and it unlocked all the songs.
Exactly. Now it's a monthly subscription plan, but as long as I don't play the game more than 10,000 years, I'm ahead. It just makes a lot more sense to pay $10 and get all the skins. So I pick a uniform every time. It's like, we'll be all white this wipe, or all red, or all green, or all blue, or whatever.
Mhm.
So yeah, I love that game. It's a lot of fun, man. There's so much to do. There's so much to do. It just keeps you super busy.
I just can't. I was thinking about buying a Nintendo Switch recently because I played Super Smash recently on that, and it was a blast. It was a ton of fun. Do you like Super Smash? I know that you probably don't, Kyle. Have you ever played, Woody?
I don't think I've played. I have a thermometer on the wall. 91 in here.
Fuck me.
That's so uncomfortable.
It is
That's
not.
almost as bad as the Oh, did you guys watch episode 4 of Chernobyl?
Yes.
No, I watched episode 1 though. I said
You
this
should catch
before.
up. It's great.
My sleep schedule is on track. I go to bed before midnight every night, and I wake up around 8, and it has just destroyed my media consumption.
But you feel healthier, I'm sure.
I do.
I'm not gonna spoil anything. But that was episode 4 is real sad, huh? When
It's harrowing. Yeah.
when those 3 soldiers are out doing their job.
Mhm. Yeah, it's really rough because, like, I know
can't
I looked
imagine
up,
what happens to them. Let me guess. They walk around Chernobyl and know that it's going to end poorly for them.
No.
Okay.
I'll just. It's not.
Yeah,
a
don't
huge spoiler.
we don't have to glove anything up, but I did. I was like watching the series and I'm like, I had no idea this whole event was so multifaceted. And then I like looked up the actual Chernobyl event, and a lot of this seems to be made up that they put in the show.
I don't think so.
Like a lot of overcoming obstacles that they didn't have to.
Like what?
I don't want to say it because it's like an episode 2 or 3 thing. I don't want to do it for Woody.
But I've been wondering along those same lines. I think I can talk without spoiling. Like, Kyle laid out in PKA some of the reactions they had to the initial explosion. If people don't know, Chernobyl's a nuclear power plant. It explodes. It happened a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of pass the buck, and they kind of live in denial as to how to react to this. And I'm wondering how historically accurate it is, because I want to be like, oh, I'm learning all about the Russian command structure and culture. But I might be just watching a TV show.
Yeah, I'm treating it more like this is a TV show.
I think it's fairly accurate, man. Like especially a lot of the like that thing that those soldiers are doing, they definitely did that. And like pushing all the dirt up and like getting rid of all that and like burying all the dead under the concrete and the lead coffins, that all happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm literally going off of one person I heard go, this isn't very historically accurate. And I went, I'll accept that uncritically.
I like there was one part where the guy was like, there's 3 like areas of the roof of the plant, and he's like, he's named them. He's given them like women's names, and I can't remember the names, but he's like, this is Betty. If a man were to stand on Betty for 3 hours, he'd be dead in 2 weeks. This is Marcia. If you were on Marcia for 2 hours, you'd be dead in 2 weeks. But this is Thelma. If you were in full protective gear covered in lead from head to toe, and you stayed for 3 minutes, you'd pretty much die instantly. He's like, and the other guy goes, what were I saying? Because none of them are Russian. What were I saying? Like this is the Scottish like
Great Scott, I'm not going to Chernobyl.
Aye, you are, Boris. He's like, what we're saying is this is the most dangerous place on the entire planet. And you're just like, holy fuck, it is. This is the most dangerous place on the entire fucking planet. If you stand there for 2 minutes, you die.
Yeah, I could live in the North Pole for 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, you could live anywhere for 2 minutes.
Not that place.
Maybe at the bottom of the ocean, but like, you know, that's
he
not
said
on the
full
Earth,
protective gear though.
That's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, it was such a huge fuck up, and by episode 4, you kind of get to the bottom of like what went wrong, and time is passing. Deadwood comes out on the 31st, by the way.
The movie?
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Well, that snuck up on me. The 31st of May?
Yeah.
I guess it wouldn't be the 31st of June now that I process it.
I only watched the first season of that show because after I finished the first season, I found out that they didn't renew it and it got like cut off in the middle of the storyline, and so I just stopped.
Well, they're picking right back up, and they're closing it out in a movie.
It's a continuation of the series?
Yeah, it's all the actors are back.
It's going to be like the last episode of Game of Thrones where they wrap it all up. It'll be wonderful.
Oh, maybe they'll make a Game of Thrones movie in 8 years, and they'll fix that debacle.
Dude,
hopefully.
I feel like we've worn out Game of Thrones talk. My disappointment is growing from how I expressed it a week ago. I think it through, and just like the framework that they had to work with was so wonderful. And as the framework got more bare, because the books weren't written, it just collapsed.
Yeah. I like some of those free folk posts. Like yes. There was one today. They really lay it out well because they're experts in the show. Like we all watch the show, but they go ahead and they
take it very seriously.
They're doing their homework before they make their post. You know, they're doing a little research so like Edmure Tully. You know, like we all kind of laughed when Sansa was like, "Uncle, sit down." And there was like one today of Edmure like laying out like let me read it. It'll just take me a moment to find it. Free folk.
Oh, here it is. I've got it. Uncle, please sit. Thousands of Riverlanders did not die for Robb Stark so that you could tell me to sit down, niece. While your brother was off losing the war for some foreign whore, me and his generals were doing our best to win this war with an adequate intel and leadership. I ruled the Riverlands for decades while my father was bedridden, and I'm the only one here with the experience needed to rule the Seven Kingdoms. And all of you people should know that. Sit down and stay down.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Which that's what he should have said. But it was really, they wanted a little girl power moment in there.
Yeah, one little joke. Yeah, at poor Edmure's expense, who spent the last 5 years in Game of Thrones jail.
To be fair, like when he like stood up and started talking, I also was like, I don't fucking care one iota about this character. Not one bit.
Yeah, they should have popped in on him occasionly, like just him in the cell eating rats or whatever he was up to.
It's just every once in a while.
Did you watch the thing I just linked? Let's play it together. Okay. It's only 15 seconds long, and it is the ratings of the Game of Thrones played on piano throughout the seasons. Every episode is a note. Are you guys ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Ready,
One
set.
I'm opening it.
Oh, okay.
It's taking a second. All right, I'm good.
It's playing for us.
So I'm back. Queued at 0.
Yep.
Ready, set, play. Season 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Season 8 falls off a cliff. Something about that.
That's a pretty funny way to present it.
Yeah, it was a neat way to present it.
The real Song of Ice and Fire.
I'm trying to show it visually for our patrons who watch it visually.
This is funny. They're looking at all these like speculation videos that these channels have made careers on, where it's like, what's up with Jack and Hagar? Nothing. What's Varys up to? Nothing. What are the White Walkers? Plot device. What's up with Quaithe? Nothing. Who will win? Bran. What are the Maesters up to? Nothing.
You're right. And that was one of the praises I've had that I've reversed my position on. I was like, at least they did kind of answer the questions, right? And I was like, man, the fan theories made this show better. I liked it when Jack and Hagar might have been the master of swords of Bravos, whatever, the dancing king.
Yeah. What's going on in Valyria? Nothing.
Yeah. I liked it when there were all these things.
Are there more dragons? Probably not.
And it does seem like they just
What about that horn Sam found in the snow? Just a horn.
These guys finished the show like they were Fred Flintstone at the end of a work day. They were just the fuck out of there, sliding down a dinosaur's tail and running away.
I think my guess was right. I think that they were locked in on a contract on Game of Thrones, and 2 more years of that at the same rate made no sense to them if they could just like fuckaroo this and move on to Star Wars, where God knows how much money they're making.
Yeah, they were probably making like, I don't know, $100,000 an hour, $200,000 an hour on Game of Thrones, when they could produce an hour of Star Wars for $6 million, $12 million, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. This is about some very, very rich men wanting to be very, very rich men, and basically killing their goose that's laying golden eggs. I wish that there would be enough outcry that they would give the fucking Star Wars shit to somebody else.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want the Star Wars makers to be like, whoa, maybe we don't want D&D like ruining the Star Wars franchise. Who's the best out there, right? Who do you want to do Star Wars? Peter Jackson?
To direct it?
Yeah.
I like
J.J. Abrams.
Well, I like James Cameron. James Cameron's the best. But I mean he's got some stuff to do. And I like James Cameron and Ridley Scott. They're the best at sci-fi, I think. They got some shitty movies, but then occasionally they have just some of my favorite movies of all time. I would love to have one of them be at least like a contributor of some kind on something like this. They're great at world building. Although the Star Wars thing is already fleshed out. So you really need somebody who's good at like, I don't know. I guess you need good writers. That's what it comes down to. You need good writers.
There is hot air blowing on me. It feels like a hairdryer on low. I think the scoop is the ducting is not in the vent, so it's just attic air flowing into this.
Oh, you don't want that. That attic air is if it's 92 outside, that attic air is 115.
Yeah, more. We're actually after the HVAC guys leave, the fan man's coming in to put attic things. We measure it's 140 when it was like 80 degrees out. And today's 96. I bet it's 160 up there. It's just
that's the hottest I've ever been. Was going up into my parents' attic to like retrieve something like in the middle of summer. You're up there and you're like, I'd die in.
I'd be dead in 45 minutes.
Like 45 minutes, I think you might die. I
pass
really
out
do.
and then die.
I just happened to be in the backyard for like 4 hours yesterday. We did some landscaping and then I went swimming with Colin and just goofing. Anyway, the air conditioner, I was able to monitor it because I was out there. 4 hours, never turned off. What's your camera doing, Kyle?
I don't know.
Well, we're long past an hour. Maybe call it a wrap?
Yeah. Sure.
I think so.
No, it's
going all green.
You're looking a little green. You should see a doctor. PKN 249.